Okay, we're back to school, and for some people it's great. They were tired and bored at home, rewatched all their favorite anime, and so it's time. However, there are some things you might have missed even though you were enjoying yourself over the summertime or bored out of your mind, and I'm here to catch you up. All right, it's not about summer or anything, it's about just recent things that's occurred in the chapter. And so, we're not gonna waste any time. These are 9, 10, maybe 11 things that you probably missed that happened in One Piece recently. And Mihawk, he's a major factor here. So now that we officially have an end to Wano, we're sailing to a new island after what feels like quite a long time. Okay, it doesn't feel like quite a long time. It was a long time, damn near 4 years. So it's always an exciting breath of fresh air when we get back to the sunny and head somewhere new. Not to say that Wano wasn't fantastic, but before the dust completely settles, post-Wano, let's go over a couple things you might have missed recently. Okay, so in chapter 1058, we saw Luffy being in the cage. And well, he's being pummeled by Nami, who may now canonically have Conqueror's Haki. First, before we talk about that, speaking of Conqueror's Haki, flex it right now on that sub button. Look down, make sure you are subscribed. Sometimes YouTube has its moments. It certainly helps me out. Definitely allows me to make great content for you guys, okay? So thank you so much. But seriously, back to Conqueror's Haki, Nami may or may not canonically have it. But anyways, Luffy is apologizing and asking to be let out of the cage. Fast forward a few panels and we see Buggy begging Crocodile and Mihawk for his life, and Mihawk says, funny enough, or ironically enough, that he may be the first person to become emperor by saying, I'm sorry. Just a little funny, ironic moment as we see a joke across the sea. You gotta love these Oda cutaways, right? Next, Usopp's new bounty. We go back to Dressrosa, one of my favorite arcs because he had the goat, Doflamingo. He gave bounties for the Straw Hats in an attempt to have them intercepted after things went just drastically awry in Dressrosa. He went through most of the Straw Hats, giving them stars and a price on their heads, putting Usopp on top with a whopping $500 million or 500 million berry bounty. Now, post-Wano, we have all of the new bounties for the Straw Hats, and surprise, Usopp's new bounty is, you guessed it, 500 million. A nice little callback from Oda, if you ask me, but I also think it plays into the fact about the lies Usopp tells finally coming true. Maybe just a little bit. Was the saying a lie is halfway around the world before the truth has his boots on? Well, these lies for Usopp, they have certainly made their way around the world and back at this point. Shout out to Oda. Next, Zoro and Sanji birthday bounties. Okay, quick tidbit. The Zoro, specifically Zoro, and his bounty fiasco has been insane. Okay, for people that didn't know, in the scans, right? And not saying I read the scans. I mean, obviously I read the fucking scans. But in the scans, it gave Zoro a 1,100,000,011 berry, right? But in the official said 1,111,000,000 berry. So, going off the scans early, shout out to Sandman AP, he said, well, based off of the Japanese version, his bounty should be 1 million. The scans were correct. And he was saying, I hope they correct it. Now here's the plot twist. The official One Piece account announced that there was an error and that the Japanese translations was actually wrong and that the correction needed to be made. So when the official came out, it was a debate between the scans and the official about what was actually correct. The official ended up being correct, but it was not basing it off of the Japanese version because that was incorrect. They just got an update from higher up, right? You know, like Doflamingo told Moria. No, it was from higher up. Either way, Zoro's bounty is 1,111,000,000 berry. And of course, Zoro's birthday is 11/11. And funny enough, Sanji's bounty was 1,032,000,000. And of course, Sanji's birthday is March 2nd. So both were nods to my boys and their birthdays. For Jinbei, I'm not sure what that means. He was just 1.1 billion. And I think the cost for shark meat at Sabodi is 1.1. All right, let me chill. Shout out to Jinbei. Either way, this thing caused quite a stir. Now, Mihawk. There's a lot of stuff going on with Mihawk. So there are 3 things we got to touch on as we've learned quite a bit since we got to see the infamous Cross Guild in this recent chapter. So in this flashback to him helping form Cross Guild, we see Mihawk thinking that both him and Crocodile have a strong distrust in others. Now, we already knew this from Crocodile turning Captain Hook on Nico Robin, but Mihawk, well, it explains why he's a loner. But what happened? Maybe Shanks broke his heart. Because he could no longer compete against Shanks, he had nothing else to strive for. He was already the world's greatest, but who knows? All I know is that when we do finally get a Dracula Mihawk backstory, it's gonna pull at some heartstrings, and Oda's basically telling us Mihawk at some point got betrayed, and this is why he doesn't trust anyone at this point. For the most part, he somewhat trusts Shanks. The second thing about Mihawk that he may have inadvertently told us is about the situation with Boa Hancock. He says that the Marines have had his island surrounded and that he will have to leave his base, which kind of implies that they're just gonna keep coming. Now, Brock, what are you talking about? What does this have to do with Hancock? Oh. Back to Hancock, we know that Amazon Lily is not only her home, but the home of her people. She can't really pack up and just leave. I mean, she could, I guess, but where would they all go? So this tells us when we see Amazon Lily again, probably will be under the world government's control, because she cannot pack up and leave her people. She has to defend it, but they're going to continuously send people, and ta-da, Pink Mamba, shout out to my boy Boweezy, Kobe was sent there as well, which does add the plot element. So guys, Mihawk is telling us the world government, they do not stop. The numbers can be overwhelming, and for Boa Hancock, it's looking more and more grim. The third thing about Mihawk, and I find this to be super interesting, is actually another parallel to Zoro. So Mihawk was known as the Marine Hunter back in the day, which begs the question. Let me ask you guys, what do you think Mihawk did, or what's his greatest feat as the Marine Hunter? What level of Marine do you think he took out? Anyway, his first appearance, he was hunting another pirate. Zoro, funnily enough, was introduced as the Pirate Hunter, but his first appearance, he was more so hunting a Marine. Well, he was definitely locked up by the Marines, but regardless, a very interesting parallel between the current and the future, we're assuming, world's strongest swordsman. Now, final thing, swordsmanship, what it equals, Shanks, etc. Now, this one is a little bit complicated, but bear with me a bit. We see the Marines breaking down how dangerous cross skill is, and when we reach the topic of Mihawk, it said that he has greater sword skill than even Red Hair, the Emperor. That being said, it begs the question, does sword skill equal strength? This has left a fan base completely discombobulated, because people, of course, are now separating skill from strength from hockey. Now, how does one attain strength if not through skill? But is this Oda trying to tell us that Mihawk is still equal or superior to Shanks? Is Oda trying to revive the age-old argument of Shanks versus Mihawk? Is Oda clarifying things by telling us, hey, Mihawk is kind of that guy. Stop sleeping on him just because he was a warlord. This is almost confirming for a fact that warlords are very important and have been very important in the world. Just because Luffy took out a few of them does not mean that they are not impactful and super influential people. Look at where they came from and where they are now. And if Mihawk was not a reminder enough, look at the bounty of Crocodile. Basically higher than any right hand that we've seen in the series so far. It probably could be higher than even Ben Beckman's, who knows? But either way, these are going to lead to continuous debates, and I thought these are amazing callbacks or nods or ironic moments that Oda had in the story. And even when Oda showed his chopper and it somewhat made it look like Carrot, he was scaring the heck out of me. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but either way, that being said, what was your favorite thing from this recent chapter? Leave your thoughts below. Did you notice something that everyone else missed? Leave that below as well. A comment video will be coming. Haven't done that in a long time. The full comment video will be posted in the memberships, link in the description down below, but you guys will be able to see it as well. But thank you guys so much. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BrockWithTheAce. Follow me on Instagram at BrockWithThe.ace. Thank you to my patrons and my members. I appreciate you guys all so much. I have a big announcement that will be coming really soon. You guys stick around for that. But I will certainly catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I